Welcome to Take the Lead. My name is Muriel Boettger. I'm a psychologist specialized in the subdiscipline of positive psychology. Within the Take the Lead series, we focus on how to take the lead in your career or with your team. With me throughout, I have the wonderful Saleha Williams, one of the UK's top 100 technology leaders driving change in the technology business world. We are going to share with you how, by training your brain, you can take the lead in your career or lead your teams in business. Welcome to part 5, Take the Lead. My name is Muriel Boettger and I'm sitting here with Saleha Williams.
Awesome.
Welcome, Saleha.
Thank you.
We talked about your 4P model and we talked about passion, we talked about precision, and we talked about productivity. And there's one P left now. We are going to talk about people today. And from your point of view as a person with a very successful career and a very great job at the moment and a master in positive psychology, what is important about the people part in taking the lead of your own career or your team in a leadership role?
The people that you surround yourself with, the people that you choose to work with, the company you go to work for, your boss, potential mentors, your friends, your relationships, those people have such a huge impact on your life and your mindset from a positive mindset, positive leadership style perspective. So the people part for me is something I'm incredibly passionate about because we are all humans and we all have amazing talents and strengths. And if you don't surround yourself with positive people and the right people, the effects of that can be huge in a negative way. If you do choose the right people, and again, you actively choose and think, then the impact of that on your life, on your career, is momentous. It is so big.
Can you explain to me and to our listeners why people can have such a great and positive and at the same and equally negative influence on our mindset? Why is that so?
I think because we're always being influenced, and it's very hard when you meet somebody who is very negative. You know, you have a dream, you have something you're trying to do, and if they just want to shoot that down, or why are you doing it, or, you know, there's no point in doing that, it rubs off. There is, you know, an energy, a negative energy that comes from that. On the other hand, when you surround yourself by very positive people who are supportive of you, who want the best for you, again, that positive energy, it rubs off onto you in a positive way, that it has a much bigger impact, I think, than we in the West, in the world generally, haven't realized and haven't really considered before. And, you know, we all know this from, you know, school. Teachers who are so engaging and so supportive, and you love their lessons more because they were, you know, very positive people, as opposed to those teachers who maybe didn't put so much energy and passion into what they were teaching. You don't feel as excited and enthralled in that. And this is the same in everyday life, in business, in your relationships, in your partner, your friends. And these all have a fundamental effect on your life choices, and ultimately your career.
Yeah. So your career, talking about career, was very successful and is still very successful. And due to the fact that all the topics we covered during the last 4 episodes are based on scientific research, but as well on your experiences through life and through your career from an early age of 14 on, Do you have 2 examples for us from your career where you were positively influenced by the people you were engaged with and negatively influenced by?
So let's start with the negative one, and then we can move into the positive.
Yeah, that's great.
So I think, from a negative perspective, growing up, yes, I grew up in a very negative environment where I was challenged for why did I want to study? Why did why was it important to do education? And it was like, well, hello, of course it's important. Of course it's fundamental. And it makes it harder to put yourself into a focused state when people are challenging as to why you're doing that, and not in a good way. It's good to have people challenge what you think, but from a productive, a constructive perspective, not in a, no, you shouldn't do that, it's a waste of time, when clearly learning and education is so critical and important. And so that's why it was so fundamental for me to leave that environment and be away from those people as quickly as I could. Going into my career, there were certain people that would be, you have to be like this, or you have to behave in a certain way. And although that is true to a level, the best advice I've ever been given is to be yourself. But to be yourself within a professional environment, you are expected, and you do need to learn etiquette and behaviors in a business world, in a career business world. But also you have to be yourself. And one of the most positive influences that I've had in my career was James Cameron, the Oscar award-winning film director, Avatar, Titanic, etc. And this is a person, again, who he didn't really start making films until he was into his 40s. And he worked really, really hard to get there and do what he needed to do. But it was all around being positive, having that mindset of, I will do this, I will get there. And as a result, he's one of the most successful filmmakers in the world, with the highest grossing films of all time. When I was working with him, he told me that the decision to work with me was based on my energy and my positive energy. And I think that was one of the first times that I realized just how important, whether we realize it or not, what kind of energy we are giving off, and therefore how it affects people around us. And when you're looking at your career, it is important you surround yourself with people who are going to support you and are positive. And that includes your friends and your partner, your husband, wife, because it's all linked in terms of the effect of the people around you that has.
What effect did it have on you changing your people environment?
I think to move away from a negative environment to a much more supportive, collaborative environment was just fundamental. And, I know, for example, that within a company, in a business sense, I like to be in a collaborative environment. So I want to work with other people. I want to be part of a team. I want my team to feel that they are, part of a group and part of a team who are working together and who are not competitive to each other on an individual level. Yeah. So having that collaborative environment with the similar people that have a collaborative, positive mindset is fundamental to then delivering the results that I need to do in my job, in my projects, with my own teams, etc., as opposed to fighting it in a negative space or in a group of negative people. And it isn't always as black and white that you can always surround yourself with, happy, positive people. That's not the way life is.
That's why I like the wording collaborative environment.
Completely. And I think, when you are looking to build your career, the world needs brilliant, positive people. And we are all brilliant people. It's a question of whether we want to unleash our talents and our strengths on the rest of the world. And so there is more than enough to go around in terms of jobs, in terms of projects. And we don't need to be negatively competitive in that sense. We need to be collaborative and to work with people with similar values, I think is really quite fundamental.
Yeah, that's amazing. So if there's a listener out there wanting to take the lead of his or her career, or there is a person going into the role of a leadership, or there are people working in a team. So you're saying it's important to surround yourself with positive people, or with collaborative, constructive people. But when I'm working towards a great career, a successful career, when I'm on this ladder to the career, I will definitely meet people I don't like or I don't come along with.
Yeah.
What is the best advice you ever had given or given away yourself, how to deal with people you're not on the same stage with?
Well, I think that the first thing to say is that we have to be realistic and understand that, especially in business and in big companies and even small ones, there's always going to be somebody that you don't get along with or doesn't like you for whatever reason, or you don't like them. And I think, again, it goes back to, as a leader, looking at the team dynamic so that you're utilizing, again, the strengths of the individuals in that team. And sometimes those are reactive to each other. To build great projects, deliver great marketing campaigns, especially with brilliant creative people, you can get very different styles of how people work and communicate. But it goes back to the fundamental, strengths and talents of those people to make that work in a group environment. On an individual level, when you're looking at your career, if you go into an interview and the person who's interviewing is your potential boss and you just think, I cannot work for this person, it's not going to work. You need to be in an environment, you need to choose carefully the companies you go into, the people that you are going to work with, so that, again, you can be optimum in how you then deliver and are productive in what you're achieving there. So I think when you have difficult people, it isn't a question of, move away from them because they're not positive enough. It's about balancing and understanding their strengths and their talents, accepting that we're all individuals and we are different. But I think to actively remain in a very negative environment or a very toxic relationship or company culture is not a good place to stay.
Yeah. So it is, again, here something you can influence by changing your mindset and how you are thinking about a certain situation or about a certain person.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is it that you want to give away? Like, what is the best thing you've learned when it comes to people in your career? What is the advice you want to give your younger your younger self?
So I think there's two parts. The first part is to find a mentor, somebody that has done what you want to do and who is willing to share that with you, share their experiences with you, and as far as possible, sort of help you overcome the issues that you may find or some of the challenges you find. Because that person, if they've already done it, they can help you accelerate your career because they've experienced it already. So having a good mentor is key. I think it's also about choosing the right people who you're spending your time with outside of work or outside of your career. So even your friends and people that you spend time with socially, and social media has a huge impact on this as well. Spend time with people who are helping to boost your confidence, who are helping you to increase your knowledge, who are positive in that respect, not people who are criticizing you or in social media environments who are negative and critical of you, or even in a group where it's critical and negative. Put yourself and your time with, choose your people wisely, choose who you spend your time with wisely, but actively seek out a mentor, a boss, who is there to help drive you forward and who wants that for you and not negative about that in a critical, in a sort of self-defeating kind of way.
Do you have like one mentor for life, or can you have several mentors over the span of your lifetime, or for different areas in your life? What are your thoughts on that?
Do you know what? I think that's such a good question. I think there is different people come into your life at different times and stages and can each bring value and insight and experience, advice, guidance for different times of your life. I think if I was talking to my younger self, I think the person that you have to be the most selective of, who has this influence on you throughout your life, is your partner. So who you choose to marry or spend the majority of your life with, if you're going to do that, if that is one person, because for some people it's not one person. Yeah. That person has to really know you and fundamentally be behind you and positive. I know that my husband and I would not be together if he wasn't supportive of my hopes and dreams and what I want to achieve in my life as well as my career. At the same time, there are mentors that I've known and had from many years ago who I'm still in touch with now. But then there's new mentors that come into my life too. And there's people that, again, have either experienced something that I'm going through or whose advice I have actively sought because I'm moving into a different stage of my career or even a different company. So I don't think it's just one soulmate mentor.
Yeah.
I do think that the person you spend the majority of your time with, which in this case I'm talking about a husband or a partner, that's critical. But to really take the value of people at different times, aligned to what you need to learn at that time in your life and in your career.
So to summarize, what is important about people is that you put yourself out there and you connected with people, but to choose wisely with which kind of people you connect yourself, and that you are aware maybe also of what advice you are taking in.
Yes.
Because it is not only about, okay, I'm taking advice of everyone, but I choose which person's advice is really helpful for me.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. And that may be different when you're entering your career to when you are going into a CEO position, for example. But it is about being selective, and it goes back to the whole of the 4P model, which is what is your passion and what are you trying to achieve in the first place in your career? What is the precision and the planning and productivity around that? And then seeking the right people to help make that happen, to support you and motivate you and strengthen you in every area, emotionally, intellectually, even physically.
Yeah, that's amazing. So is there anything you want to conclude with now we are almost finished the Take the Lead podcast series?
I think it's a simple thing of saying, as we said right at the beginning, as individuals, as human beings, we can influence our life choices, our career choices, up to, or even more than 40% is up to us. It isn't set in stone from birth, or, our brains are capable of growing and being utilized in such fantastic ways that if you are able to spend the time and think about your passion, What motivates you, engages you? What do you want to achieve? Put the precision planning behind that. Look at your energy and your engagement and your productivity, every minute, every hour, every day, to put that effort into thinking about that, and then surrounding yourself with the right people truly has a major impact on how successful your career will be, how happy you are in your career, and likewise how you can lead teams to be as engaged and optimal and successful and dynamic as a group of individuals in a team going forward.
Thank you so much. That was so inspiring to listen to you and all your experiences and your knowledge. And thank you, Saleha, for sharing all this with us. And I'm happy that all the listeners enjoyed the Take the Lead series as much as I did. Thank you so much. Good luck with everything. Congratulations again on being one of the top 100 influencers in technology. And yeah, all the best for you in your future.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Muriel. Thank you.